Welcome to Malawi and to Malawi fruits. Malawi is a wonderful country with a long historical relationship with Scotland. Dr. David Livingstone was the first missionary to visit the country in 1862, and he was followed by a host of other Scottish missionaries who brought the good news to Malawi and established a strong church. When Livingstone first went to Malawi, no one in the country had heard about Jesus Christ. There was no Christian church and no missionary had ever been there. Now, on a typical Sunday, more than half of the population of Malawi will be in church. Today, there are strong Scotland-Malawi links through churches, schools, universities and charities like Malawi Fruits. Malawi is a landlocked country, and the lack of a coastline has implications for the economy. All imports and exports have to cross another country, and there is always a charge for this. Malawi does have a lake, a very large one. From north to south, Lake Malawi is about the same length as England. That is from Hadrian's Wall all the way down to Land's End. The lake adds to the beauty of a country which has mountains and hills and is green and fertile during the rainy season, which runs from December to April each year. This scene was captured in May, when the rains have fed the land and supported the growth of maize, which is the staple crop in Malawi. Maize flour is used to make sima, a porridge-like meal which is eaten every day by Malawians. Farmers in Malawi usually rely on the rains for growing their crops, but climate change is making this a precarious business. This photo was taken in October, when there has been no rain for 6 months. The ground is dry and dusty, and temperatures reach 35 degrees Celsius. Malawi has millions of children. One of the staggering statistics about the country is that half of the population is under 15 years of age. And this is what the children look like in the rural villages. Malawi is the 4th poorest country in the world, and that poverty is very obvious, especially in the countryside. This picture tells a story about Malawi. If you can lift your eyes beyond the child, you can see what a beautiful country Malawi is. But poverty and pain are never far away. Beauty and brokenness go side by side. Malawi Fruits follows in that long line of Scottish missions, bringing good news to the poor. We are inspired by the ministry of Jesus, who brought good news in very practical ways. He had compassion on the crowds. He fed the hungry. He cared for those who were broken and hurting. But above all, he treated people with dignity and respect. Malawi Fruits aims to bring charity wrapped in dignity by enabling farmers in Malawi to earn their own livings and so be able to care for their families. Most people in Malawi are subsistence farmers. Here we have the small family home, and you can see that the farmer has carved out enough of the soil to grow maize, to make sima, and so feed the family. Many of these farmers have no cash income at all, so if the crop fails, there is nothing in reserve, and everyone goes hungry. This is another typical scene. It is the woman who is in the field, and she is clearly pregnant, and the children are working in the field too. But the children should be in school. The reason they are in the field is that this type of farming is such hard work that everyone gets roped in to help. Fertilizer is being applied here. The boy at the right-hand side literally has a bowl and a teaspoon and is putting a teaspoonful of fertilizer on each of the maize plants. But these young people should be at school. Malawi Fruits has looked at this model of farming, and we want to bring change. The most important thing is to empower farmers to grow cash crops and get an income for their household, often for the very first time. Mary is one of the farmers whom Malawi Fruits has supported to grow paprika as a cash crop. It was the first time she had grown something that someone wanted to buy. The paprika peppers are picked and dried in the sun for 3 weeks. The farmers then bring them to market where they are graded and weighed and they get paid. The very first time they have earned a cash income. Bringing good news is all about what the farmers can do with their money. Matthew sold his crop, and that has enabled his son to go to secondary school. Precious sold her paprika and used some of the money to buy 2 goats, a mummy goat and a daddy goat, and now she has 2 kids. This investment in her business means that her family now has goat's milk, cheese, and meat, or they can sell the kids and use the money for something else. The other woman is Joyce, and she used her income to buy metal sheets for her house. Previously, it was a grass roof, which meant the rain poured in during the rainy season. The great thing is that the new roof will last for around 20 years. So next year she can use the income from her paprika crop for something else. Little by little, life gets better for these farmers. There are 2 special groups with whom Malawi Fruits works. One is women who often don't have access to land and so have to work for someone else. And the other is young farmers. Malawi Fruits is working with the Church of Scotland Guild on a project called Growing the Future, which aims to inspire young people to do farming differently. Young people are often working in the fields as soon as they leave primary school, but it is a back-breaking work where the aim is to scrape together enough food just to survive. With few paid jobs in the country, children in rural areas know that they will be working in the fields, and Malawi Fruits aims to show them that modern farming methods can be beneficial. Growing the Future supports young farmers growing cash crops rather than just maize, using solar-powered irrigation, and gives them access to a tractor and plough to reduce the back-breaking labour required to prepare the land. Training is key, and we work with groups of young people, often youth groups in churches, like this one in Kacheri. We are making future pumps like this available to the young farmers. These solar-powered pumps provide water for an acre of land per day and enable the young farmers to grow 2 crops in the year, doubling their income from farming. This is Hippo, who runs our demonstration farm. This is where we bring groups of young farmers to learn about using irrigation to grow crops and how a solar-powered pump can be of benefit. Hippo is growing vegetables for the local markets. Can you see the irrigation pump on the horizon? The pump gives a good flow of water through the hose and ensures that the crops get the water they need. Glory is Hippo's neighbour, and she loves her future pump. It has transformed her farm. We think that these innovative pumps are great, and we are delighted that churches and other groups are working with us to purchase these and get them into the hands of young farmers in Malawi. It is pleasing that over 200 pumps have now been delivered, and the support of all our partners in Scotland has attracted international attention. The United Nations Development Programme has agreed to match pound for pound all donations that Malawi Fruits receives in Scotland. This is the ultimate buy one, get one free offer. A wide variety of crops are grown by our young farmers. Luca is growing red sorghum, which is sold for processing locally. Vincent grows groundnuts, which are sold to a wholesaler for export all over Africa. More and more of our young farmers are growing sunflower crops because Malawi Fruits can process these directly. Working with a farmers' cooperative in the village of Kakloha, we have opened a sunflower oil processing factory. The factory creates employment and produces cold-pressed sunflower oil for sale in the local markets. Young farmers using future pumps to irrigate sunflower crops can help ensure that the factory has a year-round supply of sunflower seeds for processing. The other priority group for Malawi Fruits is women. In Malawi, the men own the land, and while the women are usually expected to work on the land, they often do not get paid for that, and so have no money to support their children. We are tackling this issue through our greenhouse project. Our low-cost greenhouses are provided to groups of 3 or 4 women who work together. This means that they can easily manage the crops around their other childcare and family responsibilities. The greenhouses are erected on land adjacent to the family home. Tomatoes are grown in sacks, which means that the land for the greenhouse doesn't need to be good farmland. Also, wastewater from the house can be used as part of the irrigation of the crops. Growing tomatoes in greenhouses gives many advantages. Insect attacks are reduced, and because the tomatoes do not get wet in the rain, there are fewer problems with fungus. And tomatoes can be grown all year round, which also gives the women a year-round income. Malawi Fruits has linked with a women's cooperative, which runs a tomato processing factory. They need 1 ton of tomatoes per day and struggle to get good quality fruit throughout the year. Through the use of their greenhouses, our women growers are able to provide improved quality tomatoes every month of the year. The women too benefit from having a regular income, enabling them to pay for schooling for their children, for medicines when they need them, and for improving their homes. The tomatoes are processed to make bottled tomatoes and tomato sauces and soups, which are sold in Malawi, Zambia, and Mozambique. Thank you for your support for Malawi Foods. Together we really are bringing good news to the poor.